Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Sunday, the 23rd of December, 2012. This is episode 938. Enjoy. Well, hey, how are you today? Welcome, Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, on Christmas Eve. Yes, it's time to talk high-tech, and, you know, I like to make this a tradition every year. If you need buying advice, if you need something, you know, some help with the geek in your life, now's the time. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number you can call. Or maybe you got something for the holidays and you're not happy about it. Maybe you already got your Hanukkah presents and they don't work, maybe. Or, you know, today's Festivus. I don't know. Do you Festivus folks exchange gifts? I don't even know. But if you did and you have something you want a little help with, here I'm here. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Normally I give out the website, but something's wrong with our website, it seems like. Seems like it's just moving very slowly right now. Tech Guy, I'll give you the address for the future reference. Because that's where we put all the show notes. James Girufo's in there. He's writing, well, maybe not today, but he's writing everything down as I say it. And we've got the great Josh Windish, who's on vacation. Maybe it's because everybody's on vacation. Josh is in Holland right now. Michigan, not the Netherlands. And but the site is techguylabs.com. That's where all the show notes go. That's where all the information goes. And we've got previous shows there, all 938 of them. They're all there. techguylabs.com. Also a link to our great chat room, irc.twit.tv. That's the direct link. You can go there in a browser. If you have a chat client, you can also do that. And we got a bunch of great people moderating it, keeping it friendly today. I want to wish a happy holidays to Dan and Brad and Canuck and Can We Bowl, Please, CWBP, Darth Emma, great to see you, Darth. Hip Houdini 7, Inferno 10, Kevin H, Leggett, Life Sazu, Mick, Night Flyer, Sly Ferret, Tech Zen, and TTK. They're all in there. Hello, chat room, and our chat moderators. Lots of nice people in there. Lots of nice people. It's a great group. And one of the things we try to do, we keep it very family friendly. So if you've never used chat, or maybe you've used chat and were put off because you went to an AOL chat room or something and something weird happened, not here. We have very strict rules. Great moderators who keep the place family friendly, and it's always fun. So head on in there. TechGuyLabs.com. That's the website, which is currently down. Hey, John, can you check that website? It's down. TechGuyLabs.com. We'll see what's going on there. And the chat room, which is not irc.twit.tv. The mods, Mosquito in the chat room says, the mods got their kicking boots on. They wield a mighty banhammer. But usually it's not necessary. So here we go. The end of the year is upon us. What a year this has been in technology. What an amazing year. I like to, at the end of the year, look back at the big stories of 2012. And, of course, next week we'll look forward to what's going to be the big changes in 2013. I think, one of the big stories is Facebook. Love it or hate it, it certainly dominates interest. They have actually something I kind of like. It's the place you love to hate, or you hate to love. They have, when you go to your timeline, see your year 2012 in review. So Facebook, Google, who else does this? Yahoo, I guess, probably does it. Twitter did it this year. They'll do a page that's, the big stories of 2012. But what I really like now is they're personalizing it. And you get, if you've been putting stuff on Facebook all year, here's your reward. The year in review. So you can all see all the things that happened this year to you that were interesting or cool in one big timeline. That just makes the ego glow, doesn't it? Makes the ego smile. Twitter has a year in review, 2012, and of course it's focused on tweets. The biggest, you can go to 2012.twitter.com if you want to see that. They have several different segments. They have the golden tweets, the pulse of the planet, only on Twitter, trends, new voices. And yeah, they're doing your year on Twitter as well. But the golden tweets were the biggest tweets of the year. And the tweet that got the most retweets, well, of course, Barack Obama's 4 more years with a picture of the president and hugging the first lady. 810,000 retweets. That means 810,000 people repeated that tweet. But that just shows you, I mean, the President of the United States tweeting, that shows you the success of Twitter. And then, of course, the number 2 tweet was from Justin Bieber. From the ridiculous to the sublime, or vice versa, depending on your politics. It actually was a kind of a moving tweet from Justin Bieber. Got retweeted 220,000 times. He said goodbye to a fan who was 6-year-old fan who had a rare form of brain cancer, and he took her under his wing. And when she passed away in September, he said, "R.I.P. Evelana, I love you." And that was obviously very powerful for his fans. A very profane tweet was number 3 for the year, from NFLer T.J. Lang. I won't repeat it. But he swore, and then he said, "Fine me and use the money to pay the regular refs." He was a little mad. He was a little mad when a replacement ref kind of caused a difficult time between the Seahawks and the Packers, and he had to tweet that. Of course, remember the 2012 Olympics were this year in London. And the biggest tweet from Great Britain was Team GB, 29 gold, 17 silver, 19 bronze, 67,000 retweets. And just to show you it's international, another very big tweet was 2 Japanese anime voiceover artists got married. And that became a very popular tweet. How about that? Those are the golden tweets, as Twitter calls them. It's a fun thing to do, to look back. I think from the point of view of a tech journalist, this was an amazing year with the rise of Apple Computer. They released not 1, not 2, but 3 iPads in this year. The iPad 3 that was this year in March. Then in September, they released the iPad. Actually, I guess it was October, the iPad 4. They updated the iPad 7 months later. And released a little bitty iPad, the iPad Mini, which has, to all reports, been a huge success. Apple's stock price soared this year and then tumbled. Got as high as $705 per share. Is back down to just over $500. Google had a big year, too, with Google Plus, its social network, signing up hundreds of millions of people, most of whom never used Google Plus. Then introduced communities, events, a lot of features that actually make it a pretty attractive social network. The problem is everybody's on Facebook already and Twitter, and there doesn't seem to be a need for anything else. What was your big tech story of the year? Was it Instagram selling? And I talked about this last show. Instagram, an Apple iPhone app, that's all it was, just an app, sold for $1 billion. And the key on that was that they had made no money. If you make money, then you get sold for some multiple of how much you make. But if you have no revenue, why, the sky's the limit, apparently. $1 billion for an iPhone app. Amazing. I think Facebook learned its lesson because, there's another app that's very popular right now. It's this happens. Remember OMG Pop, the company that did, I don't even remember what it was called, Draw Something, right? For 1 week, it was like everybody was using it, and then that was it. It was gone. It was over. Have you used Draw Something lately? Nevertheless, Zynga bought OMG Pop for hundreds of millions of dollars right at the peak, and then nothing, causing Zynga some financial hardship. What an interesting year it has been. What's your story? What's your big tech story of the year? 8888 Ask Leo. You want some tech help with your new gadget or some help buying something for the geek in your life? We can do that today, too. 8888 Ask Leo. I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo, the eve of Christmas Eve. Eve of Christmas Eve. I like that. Let's go right to the phones. Richard in Los Angeles, our first call of the day. Hi, Richard. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm pretty good, except for my problem, of course. That's why I called. When I go to some websites, let's take an example of Bank of America. I sign in, do what I need to do, and it works well. But then when I try to go to the top of the page to sign out, I can't. I click on sign out, 4 or 5 times, nothing happens. That's fairly typical when I'm in a website. I can't go near the top of the page and launch anything.
Your mouse moves around fine below, but not at the top?
Yes. The mouse moves at the top. It just doesn't. When I click on something, nothing happens.
It's a JavaScript error.
Any thought about how to correct it?
What browser are you using?
Well, I've been using Firefox, and I've also used Chrome. Same problem.
Same problem on both?
Yeah.
Not sure about that. Boy, I have no idea. It's Windows?
Yes, it's Windows 7 Home Premium, whatever it's called.
I mean, it's a recent version of Windows.
And it just started about 2 weeks ago, by the way.
Have you installed any other, I don't know, a browser tool? That puzzles me that both Chrome and Internet Explorer are doing it. If one were doing it, not the other, then maybe there was some sort of browser object installed or something. But that's a puzzlement to me. I'm not sure why something would be keeping your mouse from clicking at the top. Maybe, I'll tell you what worries me.
Yeah.
There's some malware that will do some cross-site scripting. And the way cross-site scripting works is it hijacks clicks effectively by putting... Boy, I'm getting so much echo, Jonathan. I can barely talk here. It's not your fault, Richard.
I'm hearing some odd stuff, too.
Yeah. We moved to a new studio to fix this, and it's actually gotten worse. Let me put you on hold because I just can't concentrate because I'm getting so much of myself back.
Okay.
Golly, I'm not sure. That's a puzzlement. Maybe the chat room has an idea of something that that could fix this. I would run and I hate to always jump to the malware thing, right?
I've done the malware bytes business that you always talk about. I do that every Friday, and it last 2 Fridays, and that didn't change anything.
I wonder if there's one thing that you have on your system. I mentioned this before. Maybe you've heard me say Microsoft puts an anti-malware tool on on Windows that it updates every second Tuesday during Patch Tuesday, called the malicious software removal tool. Have you ever heard me talk about that?
Oh yeah, and I use that every Friday.
That's the one you use. So you click Start Run, or you do Windows R and you type MRT. A window will pop up for a program that you didn't even know you had. They don't put an icon in the Start menu or anything. It pops up,
right?
And then you do click Next and go to the they call it thorough scan or complete scan or something, and do a complete scan of that. If you see nothing, I cannot. That puzzles me. I don't know.
Okay, I haven't done a complete scan. I do the
do the thorough scan. The quickie's not as good as the thorough scan, but boy, I just don't know. It sounds like something's going on with JavaScript, which is capturing the clicks of your mouse, and that is worrisome because when JavaScript does that, it's usually because malware is trying to capture your mouse clicks. So that worries me quite a bit. I'm not sure what to make of that, Richard. Maybe somebody will know. I'm looking at the chat room. They're all worried about the echo more than they are about your question. But once they calm down over the echo, maybe they can... Because, IE and Chrome have different JavaScript engines. I'm really worried that there's something nasty on your system. You might try Rootkit Revealer, which is available from Microsoft's sysinternals site. You might try... golly, I just don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. It worries me a little bit, though. One thing you could do is reset your browser, both Chrome and Internet Explorer. Clear the cache, clear the history, start over again, see if that helps at all. I'm sorry, Richard. I hate to start the show with a no answer, but that's the best I can do. Pranav is in New York City. Hello, Pranav.
Hey, hi, Leo. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
So I have a question about the iPhone 5. I got it last month on Sprint, which was a mistake. And I have two questions about it, which is, I heard that the iPhone 5 on Verizon comes with an unlocked GSM SIM slot.
Yes, isn't that nice?
Put any card.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And the Verizon version and the Sprint version are essentially the same models. And I was wondering if the Sprint iPhone 5 is unlocked as well. I wasn't able to.
No. You know, it's really something Verizon did. They didn't want to tell anybody, but it's something Verizon did, and it makes it very valuable. I don't believe Sprint has done the same thing. I'm told that they have not. So the iPhone, and okay. This is going to be the way it is going forward. You know, there's two big phone technologies in the U.S. There's CDMA, that's what Verizon and Sprint use, and there's GSM, which is what AT&T and T-Mobile use, and most of the rest of the world uses. GSM is almost universal, right. Global. So if you travel, you want a GSM phone. Most phones going forward, I think, will be both because the chipsets exist from Qualcomm and others to do that. So it's not a huge expense to do that. It's certainly an advantage because it means the phone will work internationally. And the iPhone is an example where they don't want to make two different kinds of phones. They make one kind of phone, and it has CDMA and GSM. With GSM, you get a SIM card, as you pointed out, Pranav. And the SIM card's nice because it means you can pop it out and put a SIM. When you go to France, you can buy a French SIM and pop it in there. You have a French phone number and you pay French data rates, which is a lot less than international roaming. So for frequent travelers, it's great. What country do you go to?
Well, I'm actually from India. I'm an international student here in the U.S., so I'm here for 2 years.
So you want to go back and forth to India. So tell me what I like to ask people because I don't know. I know some countries you can do this. Is it fairly easy when you get to India if you have an unlocked GSM phone to buy a SIM card in India?
Yes, in fact, that's the standard in India. We don't have contracts. You just go into a shop, you buy a phone, you put any SIM card in it, and it just works. So it was really frustrating for me to come to the U.S. and deal with all the contracts.
Isn't that nice? It just seems so sensible.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
It is. Yeah, you sign up for two. Now T-Mobile is going to try a very interesting experiment next year. They're the kind of the fourth also ran cell company here, and so as a result, they're going to eliminate contracts. They're going to do exactly that. You'll buy a phone unsubsidized. Right. It'll be unlocked. You put a SIM card in it. And you pay month to month, just as you do in India. It'll be wonderful. But Sprint, by choosing a Sprint phone, you've kind of locked yourself into Sprint's CDMA system.
Well, I got suckered into the unlimited data plan, and
that's attractive.
Megabit.
That's attractive.
On good days, it's awful. Well, I have one more question about the phone.
But hold on a second, because I got to take a break. In fact, coming up in just a second, our photo guy. So, Pranav, if you hang on, we'll hang on through Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, and then I'll get back to you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Pranav's on the line from New York City. Now, you said you're on Sprint. Sprint is rolling out. You know, they had the worst 4G for a long time. It was really called, it was WiMAX. It was Clearwire. And they have
3G is not too great either.
Yeah, well, 3G used to be good, but that was in a day when 3G was terrible anyway, and Sprint's had the best. But they are rolling out LTE, and as they roll that out, and I'm sure New York City is on the list, that should improve their bandwidth considerably.
Come in March, I think, in New York City, but I mean, fingers crossed. So let's see. But the second
just to complete the thought, that is what's so amazing, and we were so surprised when we found out that Verizon did not lock the SIM chip in their iPhone 5. So it's a CDMA phone when you use it on the Verizon network, but I can travel overseas, take my iPhone 5 with me, pop the SIM, put an international SIM in, and it's unlocked. It means I can use any SIM from any carrier. So that makes the Verizon, believe it or not, the best international phone right now, I think, is the Verizon iPhone 5, which I never thought I'd say that.
I'm kicking myself for not buying the Verizon iPhone 5 right now. But anyway, now I'm locked into a contract. So the thing is, when I do cancel my contract, will I be able to use the Sprint phone on another service in the U.S.? Or
no, that's what locked means. No. See, that's the... So, as you said, in India... Well, you buy the phone, but you pay the full price. You don't get a subsidized price. You buy the phone, and then you can use it with anybody. In the U.S., they just for probably more for historic reasons than anything else, it's a subsidized phone. So you only paid $200 for the iPhone instead of the $600 face value of the iPhone. And they say, but we own you for 2 years. Now, after 2 years, they're supposed to unlock it. AT&T does. I don't know if Sprint does, but I think they will if you do.
Well, I called up Sprint, and they said that they do unlock it, provided you're in good standing, whatever that is. But the thing is, once they unlock it, can you still, and if I cancel my contract with them, can I use it on any other service in the U.S., or is it a brick? I can, right?
You can't. Well, any other service except Verizon, ironically.
Except Verizon.
Yeah, and you might be able to go to Verizon and say, hey, look, I have a Sprint phone. It's deactivated. Can I activate it on your network? And they might activate it because on CDMA, it's activated by software, not by the SIM card. But yes, once it's unlocked by Sprint, you could use it on T-Mobile or AT&T. And I bet you, if you asked Verizon nicely, they want your money. They want your monthly fee.
I hate U.S. cell phone carriers, but anyway.
Hey, you're in good company. Everybody in the U.S. hates U.S. cell phone carriers, too. It's a universal feeling. They're loathed. And it's funny that you would think that if you were in a business where everybody hates you, you would think you would try to address that in some way.
Right.
But they've got us over a barrel. It's a monopoly. There's nothing we can do. It's kind of a virtual monopoly. As long as they all continue to act poorly, there's nothing we can do about it. Hey, thanks for the call.
Well, thank you so much, Leo.
It's great to talk to you.
I listen to most of your podcasts, and you're awesome. Thank you.
You're a good man, Pranav. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I just, it's interesting because there's a gulf between businesses in the internet era. I think there's lots of businesses like Amazon, Zappos, where customers come first. And they understand that their business really relies on customers, and that and this is key, in the internet era, customers can talk to each other. You're not operating all alone in a vacuum as you were maybe 30 years ago. We all know who's good and who's bad, who's naughty and who's nice. So modern internet era companies, for the most part, try to really put customers first. And then there's the old school companies, the Comcasts and the Sprints and the AT&Ts of the world. They're monopolies. They came out of the monopoly era, where it didn't matter if somebody liked you or not, because they had no choice. What are you going to do? Go to another cable company? You can't. So it's the old Lily Tomlin bit. We're the phone company. We don't care. We don't have to. And I just think that's the times are changing, and any company that's really paying attention has got to realize customers have to come first. They really do. It's too easy for customers now to compare notes, to talk to one another, to review. There's all these sites like Yelp that people review. You cannot hide in the shadows anymore. If you're a terrible company, everybody knows. I know. I just don't understand why the cell phone companies haven't realized that yet. Maybe because there isn't really any real competition. Joe Pomona, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm trying to fax from Mountain Lion. I used to be able to do it with Leopard, and I can no longer do it now.
What software were you using?
Before I was using Leopard. Now it's Mountain Lion.
No. Not what operating system. What software for faxing?
No software. It was available in the print option. You could fax a PDF or mail a PDF, and under Mountain Lion you can't do that anymore. So one of you had a fix.
Really? I don't. Do you have a fax modem? You must have had a fax modem.
Yeah. On Leopard I did. It was an older Mac.
So there's the problem.
It was actually an Apple modem.
Yeah. So
MA was 034.
So there's the problem. Is you used to have hardware that did that. The problem with the Apple modem is it's not 64-bit, so it won't work. It required Rosetta. It required the old operating system, and that was one of the things that Apple has now abandoned. So you no longer have an ability to talk to that Apple modem. So you can no longer fax. So it's been removed from the menu.
Is there any other...
well, you could try to find, and I don't know off the top of my head, but maybe somebody in the chat room does, you could try to find a Mountain Lion compatible fax modem. And probably the key on that would be you could actually look. You search on Amazon or somewhere. You're looking for, they call them voice modems, because that means that you use it both as a data line but also as a voice line. Fax is voice, believe it or not. It sounds like it's data. It seems like it's data. It's not. It's voice. So you want a voice modem, and you need one that's compatible with Mountain Lion. It'll probably be external USB, not internal. I personally prefer to use online fax service. Now, we have Ring Central as our phone system at work, so that's part of the deal with Ring Central. You get fax. For years, I used something called eFax at efax.com. You don't need any hardware for these. MyFax is another one. You don't need any hardware for these. You email them or upload to them a PDF, and then they turn it into a fax. You know, the reason is faxing's going the way of cell phone monopolies, of AT&T, of Ma Bell. It's kind of an old-fashioned thing. Unfortunately, we still need to use it in many cases. For instance, in real estate, because we don't have a good digital, well, we do have a good digital signature capability, but nobody uses it yet. So they still want to see your, hard to believe, your signature, like you wrote it, which is crazy, crazy talk. $10 a month for MyFax. eFax is a little more. You get a real phone number, so you can take incoming faxes, and then you don't need a fax modem at home. One other advantage of this is you don't have to leave your computer on. And one of the negatives of having a computer fax machine is the computer has to be on it all the time. Web 725 in our chat room saying the medical industry still uses faxes. It's an interesting time, isn't it? I mean, we're really living in the future in many ways. You carry in your pocket a computer that would have been considered a supercomputer 15 years ago. Literally, a supercomputer 15 years ago. It's in your pocket. And yet people still want to see a handwritten signature to verify your identity. What? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the number. Christy in Valencia, California. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Christy.
So my husband and I are going traveling to the UK and the continent in the spring.
Oh, what fun.
And I'm looking really, really hard at getting a Galaxy Note 2.
Ooh, very nice.
Because I don't want to lug around a whole bunch of different devices. I just have the one, and I can use it for a phone and for internet and for whatever.
That's my phone of choice is what I carry around, and I love the size. It's funny. I have an iPhone. I have all the phones, but I was using the iPhone the other day and trying to type, and I'm so used to the big keyboard. I have sausage-sized fingers, and I was so used to the big keyboard that I couldn't type to save my life on the iPhone. So yeah, I love it, and the screen is beautiful. It's a big screen. It's easy to use. I love it.
Okay, so yeah, I think actually I've been a Mac baby and an Apple baby my whole life, and I'm thinking of going over to the dark side and getting one of these things.
Oh, Tim Cook's shivering.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's competition.
It's good.
I never
it's good.
Would say these words. Never thought I would say these words, but I am.
I know.
So my question is, if I go with that, what is my best option for a data plan in Europe? And, do I get... I know, and I hear all this stuff about an unlocked GSM. And
just the same conversation I was just having with Pranav. So here's the story. What carrier are you using, first of all?
Well, right now we have AT&T, but I'm not crazy about it, and I'll just go with whoever is the best.
Well, so here's your choice, and I do both. So with AT&T, and I have AT&T phones. I often they have an international data roaming plan. It's expensive. I think it was almost $1 a megabyte, something like that. It was less than that. I got 800. I got the most expensive one because I use a lot of data. 800 megabytes, and I think it was over $200 for that. And then if you use it up, you're at risk because then you start paying the very high roaming data charges. And international roaming is very expensive. Now, you're in luck because you're going somewhere, the UK, where you can buy a card from there's a number of companies, but the one that my colleague Sarah Lane bought was from 3.
Yeah.
It was so cheap. I can't remember what it was. I think it was in its unlimited data for a month, and I think it seemed to remember it was £30. It was very inexpensive.
Well, I lived in London for a while, and I just had a phone there.
Right. It's all changed.
Any old store and buy a crummy, cheapo phone for, and put £10 on it. And I could call the U.S. for, I think it was a penny a minute or under that. Or
right.
I mean, it was ridiculously.
So you'll get something very similar, and you can bring your U.S. phone if it is an unlocked GSM phone.
So will this Galaxy Note 2, is that an unlocked GSM phone?
If you get AT&T will have to unlock it for you. So I would inquire before you buy it. I would say, hey, what is it going to take to get it unlocked? Do I have to have it for a year? Do I have to, what is your deal with that? Yeah. You can buy it, as I did. The one I'm using on AT&T, you may not want to do this. The one I'm using on AT&T, I bought the international edition for $700, and it's unlocked. But the negative on that is it doesn't support AT&T's 4th generation LTE network. It doesn't have the radios for that. So you have a couple of options. You can go to AT&T and say, I want an unlocked Note 2. You'll pay the full price. You can go to AT&T and say, if you've been a customer for a while, say, I've been a customer for a long time. Here's what I want. And if you get somebody nice, they'll go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or, it's very, very, very nice to have data traveling. Google Maps, the Google Maps has Zagat built in, so you get restaurant reviews. You get lost.
I don't want to without the data. I definitely want that. The phone calling actually is far less of a concern for me because I can always just Skype.
I hardly use phone anymore. You're right, exactly. Calling internationally, you use Skype. That's the pennies a minute. Yeah. You text with an international data plan. Now, you can buy international texting from AT&T as well, which I usually do. Now, you can also buy the same thing as you've done before, a cheap throwaway unlocked phone in the UK, but then it's not a smartphone. So I think I like your idea a lot. I think buying a Note 2, which is essentially a tablet, it's 5.5 inches, it's giant screen, it's great, I love it. It's my favorite phone I've ever used. And then getting it unlocked or asking AT&T to unlock it. And then when you get to the UK, go to the 3 store and get a data card, cheap data card, unlimited data.
Yeah.
Now, remember, your phone number is now the UK phone number. You no longer have a US phone number. So what you'll have to do, what you'll probably want to do before you take out the old SIM is forward calls. Or do what I like to do is maybe get a Google Voice number and use it that way to forward it to the phone. Actually, Google Voice won't forward internationally, so you'll still have to pay the forwarding fee from your cell phone. But just tell people, don't call me. I'm in England.
That's exactly what I'll do. I call my mother. There's one person that needs that will need that extra phone number.
You can Skype her. You can also get a Skype. Actually, it's very affordable. Go ahead.
If I do this with the SIM card, so let's say I buy my Note, I go over to London and I go into Orange or 3 or O2, wherever I go, and I get this SIM card. So they pop it in there, and then that charges on top of their data and...
No, you no longer have an AT&T phone. Your phone has magically become a 3 phone or an O2 phone.
Right, but I'm still paying the monthly fee for my AT&T phone.
Right. Can't get out of that.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
If only we could. You could cancel your AT&T account, then start it up when you get back.
I could really relate to what you were saying earlier about these phone plans.
Yeah.
They really do need to get dragged kicking and screaming into a customer-based
They're not,
business
are they?
format, you know, where
They're not.
you can just you have options, you know. It's the
the
free
real
market.
problem is once something has the experience of being a monopoly, of having control like that, it's very hard to get them to give it up. And you know, there are other, you know, how do you start a new phone company? Dish is talking about doing that, by the way. And I imagine if the Dish Network did start a phone company, they're buying up spectrum like crazy. If they started a phone company, that they would come from a point of view of let's reinvent this business.
It's so easy overseas. It is
I know.
so easy.
It's because cell phones started here. We have an historic model. And so we're stuck with it. But that's all right. Times will change. It's just very slow. It's very frustrating. Have a great trip, Christy. I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm jealous. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Our show today brought to you by Carbonite.com. I'm going to come back in just a second, talk a little bit about Carbonite, backup done right. And then we will go to Brad in Black Mountain, North Carolina. He wants to know about different kinds of Kindles. Oh, I love talking about Kindles. We'll do that in a second. But Brad is in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Brad, if you hang on, we will talk about Kindle. We got to take a break, unfortunately, right now. But we'll be back. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. More calls coming right after this. Well, hey, happy holidays. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, the eve of Christmas Eve. We're talking high tech. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. Give me a ring. We could talk about, I don't know, holiday gift buying. I think that's what Brad wants to talk about. He's in, did I hang up on him? I pressed the button. Are you still there, Brad?
I am.
Oh, thank goodness. The name disappeared, and I thought I messed it up. Welcome. Thanks for hanging on.
Well, a couple of things since I've been listening. Your caller, the Indian student that was over here, I'm with U.S. Cellular, and we have no contract.
Aha. Now, is U.S. Cellular, it's its own carrier, right? You're not an MVNO.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's a small company, but we have no contracts.
And you guys got the iPhone 5, didn't you?
No, I don't think they've got it.
Not yet. Okay.
Well, you know what? I haven't checked in the last 2 weeks. I'm a BlackBerry man.
Ah.
So, yeah, I know. We're drowning hard.
You know, BlackBerry announced the quarterly results. They lost 1 million users, and yet the stock price is going up. And I think the reason is people are very excited about BlackBerry 10. You might be proven right after all for not leaving. They do have the Galaxy S3, I see, which is nice. Unlimited 4G LTE. And what's the coverage map like at U.S. Cellular? Is it all over the place?
It's all over. I live, you can see on the map where I live, and I go down to Cocoa Beach, Florida. I'm retired Navy, so I don't travel overseas. I sailed around the world twice.
Oh.
Which gets into your caller that said that she was going to Europe. What I did was I just took the battery out of my phone, and I paid the tokens if I had to call somebody, and I took my laptop over to free Wi-Fi places.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly the I don't want to say cheapskate's way to go, but the thrifty man's travel through Europe on $5 a day kind of thing. Absolutely, there's free Wi-Fi in a lot of places. You can, and probably in your hotel, and you can use that for Skype, for data. The only thing, I like the idea of having data while you're walking around, and it's saved my bacon a few times where I get lost in Paris. Unfortunately, I have a data plan. I've got Google Maps. I can fire it up. I can say, where's my hotel, and it'll give me directions back. And that's kind of nice.
Well, Leo, let me tell you how I got around the data maps. I got a GPS Garmin.
Ah.
And I just kept it charged, and it fits in your pocket. So if you get lost, you just turn the Garmin on, and there's no charge for it.
Excellent. Excellent.
My original question was, Santa Claus has told me that I'm going to get a Kindle 5.
Santa Claus likes you. That's great.
Yeah. Now, the Kindle Fire just went down, I think, to like $159 or $179. But I'm seeing that there's a Kindle HD.
Yes, that's the newest Kindle Fire. And that's a higher resolution and much faster processor. It's got stereo speakers if audio is important to you. So yeah, I think the new HD is $199 without carrier, and the original one is $159. It's probably worth the $40 to get the newer Kindle Fire.
That's the question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Do I not even take it out of the box and just take it into the retailer and say, I want to upgrade? Is it worth that much?
I can't tell you it depends what $40 is worth to you. I think the higher res display is. It's 1280 by 800. Are you going to watch movies or TV on it or just read?
Well, I do a lot of YouTube. And, music videos.
Yeah, I think video will look better for you because you can do the HD, the 720p HD video on YouTube, and it'll use that screen resolution. It'll look a lot crisper. Yeah, I think it's worth $40.
All right. My second question is, I live in about a 900 square foot apartment.
Okay.
I have high speed cable TV internet.
Good.
I have my little BlackBerry. I'm going to have this Kindle and my laptop.
That's a lot of computing power in 900 square feet. My goodness.
I've got to be in touch with everything that's going on.
Right.
My question is, I use my computer, my Dell laptop crashed, and I rebuilt it. One of the things I lost was the Wi-Fi capability, so I went out and bought a USB Netgear plug-in Wi-Fi adapter, which works great.
Good.
Now, for 900 square feet, I got on the internet and I looked. I need to go buy a router, a Wi-Fi router.
Yeah.
I've seen everything from $19 to $499.
Right. And the truth is, you're in a small area, so it's going to be line of sight. The real question is, and you could put this on your smartphone, put a Wi-Fi analyzer, how many other people's Wi-Fi signals are you getting in that area? I'm thinking this is an apartment, right?
I thought I was just going to piggyback on somebody else's.
No, don't.
When I moved in here
don't do
4
that.
months ago.
That's a bad idea.
But I know, but everybody has a password on. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, shucks. They finally wised up. You remind me of that lady called me last year and said, I don't know what happened. My internet access went away. I said, what happened? She said, well, I was using this thing called Linksys, and it's disappeared. So I went out and I got a more powerful receiver, but I still can't see it. I said, well, who are you paying for internet access? She says, I wasn't. It was just floating through the air, and I was using it. You should probably buy your own internet access.
That's what I was doing in my last neighborhood. But I know that's not a good thing. So
it's there's a lot of reasons why you don't want to do that, including security reasons, and it's a little unethical. But although what you could do, and this is not a bad idea, if you know your neighbors, if on either side of you, you ask them, you say, hey, I can see your signal. Can I chip in on your internet access and piggyback on your router? And they may say, yes, sure. Then they'd give you the password.
I've thought about that.
Yeah.
I've thought about that. But, I sort of want my own.
You're already paying for high-speed internet. You might as well use it. Routers are not expensive. As I said, the only issue at all is how saturated the network is in your neck of the woods. So if you see 20 Wi-Fi signals, that means, and they're probably almost all on 2.4 gigahertz. This is why a Wi-Fi analyzer can be really useful. I use one on the Android phone that's really good. I don't know what's on BlackBerry these days, but you can also get one for your laptop and analyze the signals that are out there. And if you notice that not a lot of people are using 5 gigahertz, which is almost always the case, everybody uses the original 2.4 gigahertz band, you might want to get a dual band router. Spend a little bit more on a dual band router, and then you can use the 5 gigahertz and the congestion won't get in your way. I think that's about the only thing I would really worry about. I use an Android program called Wi-Fi Analyzer that shows you not only what frequencies the people are using, but what bands are available. And you can see, you could pick a band based on that and so forth. It's very handy to know how congested the Wi-Fi is. Now, I have to say the Apple Airport Extreme is my choice because it does very good rejection of crosstalk. It's a lot more expensive. It's about $200. But I've had very good results with that. Having said that, even the $40 Linksys routers are fine, especially in a small area. Everything's line of sight in your apartment, so that's not going to be a problem. The only issue is going to be congestion, and a dual band router would be this is my suggestion for that. Get around that problem. Carlos in West Covina, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Carlos.
Hey, hi, Leo.
How are you?
Just real quick, my question is, for right now, I have AT&T.
Yeah.
And I'm due for an upgrade, but I want to get an iPhone for my wife and for my daughter. And, you tend to hear bad things about AT&T.
Well, let's talk about what's the best carrier when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Carlos is in a lovely position right now. Tell
me about it.
Yeah, he's fulfilled his 2-year contract with his phone. Who's your phone company right now?
AT&T.
Are you unhappy with them?
No, I'm very happy with them. It's the only reason I'd like to go to Sprint is just because they got the unlimited data.
Yeah, that's why they do it, isn't it? They want you. They want to get you.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with Sprint. Here's my problem with Sprint. Their 3G network. The reason they can offer unlimited data is because they have a terrible network. So you're not going to use much data. God. Yeah. Now they are rolling out LTE, I'm told. In fact, I was told that they lit it up in where we are in Petaluma, California, this week. And then I have a Sprint. In fact, I bought a Sprint Galaxy Note 2 just for that reason, because I thought, oh, great, LTE. I love LTE. That high speed, and I can't see it. So I think they still have some growing pains with their LTE coverage. It's very narrow. They may have it in your area, and they may not. I would check. If once they have it,
they don't have it.
Yeah. So then you're stuck with either their WiMAX 4G, which was really awful, or their 3G, which is not very fast. PC Magazine every year rates the speed of the cell carriers, and of course it doesn't really matter how the speed is nationwide, because it's really only how it is where you are. But in general, AT&T almost always wins as the fastest cell phone carrier. So,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're rolling out LTE as fast as they can. I'm pretty sure it's in your area already. I'd stay, if you're not unhappy with AT&T, I'd stay with it. And you also, of course, you're going to get a free upgrade. So, not free, but you'll get a subsidized phone. I want
to get a phone for the wife and the daughter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and their family plan. No, all cell phone carriers are bad in some way or other. I don't think AT&T is any worse. A lot of people complained in our area, in San Francisco Bay Area, when the iPhone became dominant on AT&T, because, frankly, everybody, all the nerds in San Francisco were carrying them, and the data just was disappeared. I think they've, for the most part, fixed that. And certainly now that iPhones are on all the carriers, it's the same as everywhere. I would just say, if you're happy with AT&T, you should probably stick with AT&T. Sprint's data is so bad that I don't think unlimited data is a compelling thing with them. You could try a Sprint phone. Go to your Sprint store and say, I want to try a phone, see how it is, see what kind of speeds you get. Not a bad idea. Well, yeah. I'm looking at people in the chat room. For instance, James RB is in the chat room. James Reb, I should say. And he said, I had Sprint LTE, even work right next to the HQ in Kansas City, and he said it was terrible. I want to love Sprint. I really do. I think that the competition they're offering for AT&T and Verizon is very important. T-Mobile too, but I think it's a little disappointing that they just haven't kept up. Neither T-Mobile nor AT&T have a good LTE network, and LTE is what you want. Verizon and AT&T own LTE. And when you're using LTE and the signal's strong and there's not a lot of other people using it, you're getting 20, 30, 40. Sometimes in our chat room somebody says 60 megabits. Greg in San Antonio is getting 75 megabits on his AT&T LTE network. That's just amazing. LTE, when it works, is faster than most people's home internet. And that's pretty compelling. But then, of course, when you're getting speeds like that, you're going to go through your data caps pretty fast. So you want to look for the... Unlimited is compelling. If Sprint had good LTE, I'd say that's great. But I think that's one of the reasons they do have unlimited is because you couldn't possibly use it. Chuck in San Diego, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Chuck.
Hey, Leo. Hey, I got a Toshiba satellite laptop with Vista Home Premium on it. I had a 2-year contract with Norton 360. I get a little email that says, this is about to expire. Do you want to renew it? And I said, no. So
good man.
Ability to get Firefox. And so I took it to one shop. They checked it out, said, no, you got to go to a laptop repair place. So I called the guy on the phone. He said, I have seen 3 of these now. Norton shuts down your wireless capacity, and if you go on and renew, it acts like a virus. It takes out IDVP6 and IDVP4 or something like that. It'll say that you only have limited access.
Oh, that's hard. You know what it is? It's not. They're not trying to blackmail you, I don't think. Symantec's.
I think it's a predatory business.
It sure sounds like it, but Symantec's a good company. I have always told people don't get Norton 360. In general, in fact, the security suites are overkill. And one of the things security suites do, as opposed to an antivirus is looking for viruses and stopping them. That's good. Security suites do a lot more. They act like firewalls. They block certain kinds of traffic. They're doing all sorts of stuff. And I think probably what happens with 360 is it was handling all the internet traffic, and you take it out, and you got no internet anymore. That's pretty bad.
He said uninstall it, and it'll work fine, and it fixed it. He told me over the phone.
Yeah.
He said, I've seen 3 of these so far, and I thought, that's predatory business practice.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they have a again, it's Symantec. I don't think they're bad people. I think they have a rationale, but you're right. That's wrong. That's not the way to behave.
Well, I just want to let everybody know. And he said, I won't even charge you to bring it in here. I'll tell you, uninstall this and call me back and tell me if it works, and it worked fine.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you for passing that along. That's terrible. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I don't recommend Norton 360.
Thank you, Leo.
All right, take care. Yeah, Norton, and if you Google Norton removal tool, you'll see the uninstall that comes with it. I mentioned this yesterday. Isn't quite as good as it ought to be. McAfee, same thing. And I'm like my temperament is to assume the best of people. I like to think everybody's good. Everybody wants to do the best thing, and so I always try to assume the best. And so I want to assume the best for McAfee and for Norton. That they're just, well, for instance, you don't want to be too easily removed because a virus would remove you, right? So they make it hard to remove them. So there's a good reason. You don't want the viruses to do that. And if you haven't paid for your update, they don't want you to go online. You could get infected. So you really should pay for that update. But I can't recommend these products, and I do tell people to uninstall. With the Norton uninstaller, just get rid of it and get a better antivirus. If you don't want to pay, the free Microsoft Security Essentials is okay. It's not great. In fact, we just read a couple of weeks ago that they missed a big virus. And our sponsor, ESET, is one of the antiviruses I've recommended for years. But in any event, I just tell people, stay away from the big security suites. An antivirus is probably all you need. You got the Windows firewall. You got a router. You're protected that way. And you want something that's not going to just be, I agree, a little predatory is such a strong word. Predatory. Rick in Sacramento, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. My friend and I thought that either my wife or his wife is always on the phone in the morning. We could never get in touch with each other. So he has a MacBook, and I have a MacBook.
Yeah.
And
Well, I want to put you on hold because we're going to take a break for the bottom of the hour. We'll see. We'll help you with your friend and your friend's wife. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I do not recommend Avast, actually. Avast is not a good choice, in my opinion. Call 1-800-PHOTO-GUY to get Chris... Actually, no. He doesn't have that number. I don't know what you get if you call that. To get Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, he joins us every week to talk about photography. And every month we give you an assignment. It's not a competition. It's just a chance to go out and take pictures. Hi, Chris Marquardt.
Hello, how are you?
What was our assignment this month?
Our assignment was darkness.
Darkness.
Yes, darkness I thought there would be more like thinking outside the box things, darkness as a mood and things, but it's mostly dark pictures, which also works. I mean, that's kind of along the lines of the assignment. So, and you'd be surprised how hard it is to shoot good pictures of darkness, because you know what our cameras do when we leave them on automatic mode? They will tend to just overexpose things, because the camera will always try to brighten things up and make everything look well. So if you want to shoot these kind of darkish pictures, at least in some cases, you'll have to manually do something. You'll have to manually change some of the settings and do some exposure compensation, or even go to the Mystic manual mode, you know.
That was why this was such a good assignment, because not only do we, go out and take pictures, but we really have to learn a little bit about our camera to do so.
It's a bit of a tech component in this assignment. So I've made a choice. I've looked at the pictures. I'm blown away. They're really, really good.
So many good ones. This was a great assignment.
Yeah, I call it available darkness photography. It's the pictures that have a lot of dark in them sometimes work really well, because then what is lit just pops at you. There's no competition. There's nothing that clutters up the picture.
So what did you pick?
Well, I picked, first is from Ms. D, and it's called TSO Solo.
Wow.
And it's one of those pictures that, from a technical side, is really not that easy, because what usually happens, it's a person on stage. Let's explain that first. It's a person on stage. The light is only on her, so the backdrop, as is pretty usual on stages, is all black, and then the person is lit in a little bit of the floor, but she even wears dark clothes. So pretty much all that's lit is a bit of the floor, her face and her arms. That's all that's lit. And what the camera would typically do is it'll crank up the exposure. It'll try to make this a bit brighter. And then what happens is that this backdrop, the curtain in the background, will look nice, but the face and the arms would be blown out.
Right.
It would be completely overexposed.
Just white dots kind of in the middle of the space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is so easy. That happens so easy when you do concert photography, and that's what most cameras really struggle with. So Ms. D did a good job. Put the camera, I guess, in manual mode, or did a good job in metering some other way and getting that right. And kudos for that. And it's a nice photo. I mean, you really have a very clear subject. It's very obvious what this is about. There are some light dots on the left top, maybe from some lighting fixtures or something like that. But yeah, I like it.
Good. Yeah, I always get the exit sign in these kinds of pictures. Big red exit,
You know what? Leo, if it's all black, it's easy to clone out.
I know, that's what I end up painting it out, exactly. Yeah.
That is a one-click clone operation.
Yeah, that's true. I have to admit, that's not so hard. Next, we got Chris Boland. And his picture is Darkness on the Edge of Town, which, of course, is a Bruce Springsteen lyric. And I like this one.
Yeah. I hope he didn't shoot that while driving, but from the passenger seat. It's a picture that shows the street, and it's apparently through some... Yeah, it looks like there's rain on the windshield. You see the lights, the street lights being blown out. It's pretty much no information, just a few dots and a few lines, but you still know exactly where that is. It's on a road. It's probably while driving.
You know what I love about this? It's very grainy, but it still works. And the reason it's grainy, he took it with a camera phone. This is with an Android camera phone. But that's fine. I mean,
totally fine.
The image speaks.
This picture works really well. Yeah. It's so dramatically reduced to the bare basics, just a few lines and dots, and it's very impressive that even then you will still get a real good picture of what's going on there.
We'll put links, of course, to all these images in our show notes so you can see them, or you can see them in the Flickr group. Our third and final picture is from Crow's Feet, Pauline. What is this of? It just looks like Christmas lights, maybe.
Well, it is, and that's one of those pictures you want to look at in full screen. It's one of those as a thumbnail. Sometimes pictures don't really work that well. That was one of those. And then I opened it up in full screen, and all of a sudden it started to pop. All of a sudden it came together.
You can kind of see the tree trunks dimly behind the Christmas lights in the trees.
So it starts from being this abstract thing, almost like a starlit sky with all these little different sized dots, and some of them are smaller and some of them are bigger. And that really, I mean, it could be like a star field in some science fiction if you look at it first.
Like
even though one thing that gives it away is its warm light. You see the yellowish color, and usually the star fields are more like coolish, more on the blue side. So this is a bit of a giveaway. And then when you look at it closer, you start realizing very faintly lit, by those dots, very faintly lit branches. So all of a sudden the perspective flips, because before I was looking at something straight on, and now I see that I'm probably looking up a tree. So the whole perspective all of a sudden switches like 90 degrees.
You're right.
And that's what I like about this picture.
That's fun.
It goes flip on you, and
it surprises you.
That's exciting. Yeah, it's surprising.
We do these assignments just as a chance to get you out in the field using your camera, because really, and that's why we ask that these be brand new images. Really, that's the whole point, isn't it? Photography is not looking through old stuff, but taking new images, new pictures. So those were great. Thank you, everybody. We got lots of submissions for Darkness. That turned out to be a great assignment. What do you got this time for us, Chris?
Well, I thought it was, why not make it simple? I mean, it's as you said, the eve of Christmas Eve, so let's make this holiday.
Holiday.
Very simple. Lots of things you can choose from, and I'm really looking for. By the way, I urge everyone to check out the new iOS app that just came out from Flickr. You can now actually take the picture right on the phone and then upload it from there, and it's very, very impressive.
The new Flickr, I'm telling you. I was waiting because, we photo folks have loved Flickr for years. It was the first really popular social photo site. Just always been great. It was a Yahoo property. Yahoo kind of neglected it. Its founders, Stuart Butterfield and Katerina Fake, left, disgusted, I think, with the lack of attention from Yahoo. And then Yahoo hired Marissa Mayer a few months ago. The CEO of Yahoo is a former Googler, Marissa Mayer. And she, I think, is putting some attention on Flickr. So much so that when this new iPhone, by the way, the Android app is also updated and does allow you to take pictures as well. And they have filters. It really is what they should have done. It's an Instagram. They could have done this before Instagram. They could be worth billions.
It even has filters. You know that Marissa Mayer is actually on the board of the San Francisco MoMA.
Museum of Modern Art.
So she has a sense. She has a sense for art. Yeah, she has some taste. So I think that's why Flickr is actually getting a lot of attention lately.
Flickr's great too for browsing photos, and I renewed my Pro account, which is $40 for 2 years, when this app came out, because I just felt like, thank you, Flickr, for thank you, Marissa, thank you, Yahoo, for bringing Flickr back. I should mention that during the holidays, this was great. I got 3 free months. They upgraded me. And if you sign up now,
me too.
Yeah, you'll get three months. Check your Flickr mail if you haven't seen that yet. And if you do go to Flickr, follow Chris Marquardt, Nubui. That's his handle. You'll see lots of wonderful images. And join our group. It's the Tech Guy group. You can find it easily just by going through groups. Tech Guy, 2 words. Once you join that group, you can start taking some pictures of the holiday, tag them holiday, and upload them to the group. And that way, we'll make sure that we see them all, and we'll pick 3 photos and talk about them next month. Again, Flickr is free, but if you want to pay for Pro, you get more features. The free is perfectly good. And if you already have a Yahoo account, you already have a Flickr account. Chris Marquardt, discoverthetopfloor.com. We'll talk again next week.
Talk to you.
Take care. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. That's one of the big stories of 2012 is Marissa Mayer, who was one of the first employees, first female engineer at Google, was there a long time, in charge of search for a long time, is often credited with the clean Google search page. She didn't get bumped up when they did a reorganization. Larry Page became CEO and created a executive committee of 5 that she was not on. She was moved to location from search. And I think she sensed that perhaps she'd reached the end of the line at Google. And so when Yahoo came courting and said, would you like to be our CEO, she jumped at the challenge and opportunity. And I think everybody agrees that that's the last best hope for Yahoo to turn itself around. It's really been struggling. And I love to see Flickr revitalized. I really think that's wonderful. And I, as soon as Instagram started having its problems, I immediately said, well, gee, where can we go? And they released a Flickr app, an updated Flickr app for the iPhone and Android, which they should have done years ago, and it's great. And I just said, yeah, I'll start using that. Nice. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number if you want to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3s, anything that's on your mind. Kurt in La Habra. Now, did I pick up somebody and I put them on hold? I can't remember. I guess not. So I'll go to Kurt in La Habra. Oh, Rick was I? Did I start talking to Rick? I think I did. All right, hang on, Kurt. We'll get you next. Rick, I remember picking you up. Sorry about that. Rick in Sacramento. Thanks for holding on.
Hi there, Leo. As I was saying, my friend and I decided that one of our wives are on the phone in the morning.
That's right.
To talk to each other, so we both.
That's right. You're the guy with the wives who talk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. And we both downloaded the Facebook software for our MacBooks, and one of us will connect from an iPad to the MacBook, and it'll connect, and then it will lose. It says connection lost, but we can both talk to our wives in the house between an iPad and a MacBook, but not outside.
Are you? You said you're using. You said you're using FaceTime. Is that what you said?
Yes, FaceTime.
FaceTime.
So I was wondering if it won't let you go out to an outside network.
No, it will. No, it absolutely will. But one or the other of you has software, or maybe both, that's blocking incoming connections. So it's probably your firewall / router that is, that's getting in the way. So I bet you, if it's just one of you, then one of you should be able to make outbound calls but not get incoming calls. That's the one that's got the problem. If it's both of you, then both of you have the problem. Have a firewall or router blocking.
I see. It's a firewall issue.
Yeah. And let me see what the fix is. For FaceTime, it's probably a question of forwarding the proper ports so that the see what a firewall does is your router does this with it, whether it says firewall or not. It says it automatically. What it does is when traffic comes from the outside world to the router, if the router didn't request that traffic, in other words, if you didn't go out and say I want to see a web page, but the web page just came to you without your request, the router go, I don't know what you're talking about, and just drop it.
I see.
It blocks inbound connections. You could make an outbound connection. You could say, I want to have a FaceTime conversation. It would go out. It would make the connection. You guys would probably be able to talk back and forth. But incoming FaceTime calls would be blocked. So Apple has a knowledge base article, HT 4225. 4225. And it will walk you through the ports you need to open so this works. I think it's 16384 is the critical port. But have you ever done port forwarding? It's pretty
a long time ago when I used to be into gaming.
Yeah, gaming, same thing, right? Gaming server, right. You can't run the server unless you open up those ports or DMZ that computer. So, the article that I just referred to you says using FaceTime behind a firewall. And a router's a firewall, but that's what you want. So FaceTime uses port 80, port 443. Those will both be open. Those are the web port and the SSL port. But then 3478 through 3497 UDP, 5223 TCP. There's a bunch of ports. So you might have to go into your router and say, hey, when I get traffic on these ports, send it to my computer. Let it go.
I got you.
And your friend might have to do that as well.
Right.
So you can search for using FaceTime and iMessage behind a firewall or Apple knowledge base article HT 4245.
All righty.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you.
Tell your wives, get off the phone and get onto the FaceTime. This is an issue for a lot of software. Skype would have this problem. A lot of software would have this problem. But it's usually pretty straightforward. You go into your router and you find the port forwarding settings, and you should be able to do that. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. We're going to get back to the phones in just a second. I said I would talk to you, Kurt, next, and I will. Now it's Kurt in La Habra, California. Hi, Kurt. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yeah, I've talked to you before. I'm the blind guy that uses Juno.
Yeah.
And I had to get a new hard drive, and I was using Explorer 7, and I tried to, and somehow I ended up with problems with 7. And so I tried to reinstall that, and it said, well, we can't reinstall it because there's a newer version of it on your system. So I went to version 8. Well, guess what? Version 8 now, I have it on the computer, and I guess there is no way to uninstall Internet.
That's pretty common. Microsoft does, they call this rollback. Microsoft does not typically let you roll back versions of IE because they really don't want you to. Right.
And so now if I run Juno or something, I get a script error. And
the problem really, I got to say, I'm going to tell you how to do it, but and I understand why you use Juno, Kurt, but this is going to get worse, not better, because Juno is just way out of date.
Oh, I agree. No, I agree. But the Internet Explorer affects a lot of the script errors in Internet Explorer affect a lot of other things on my computer, I think, and that I can't really run, and that's why I wanted to.
Well, first of all, IE8 isn't even the most current version.
I know it.
IE9 is, and on Windows 8, it's IE10.
Right. Well, see, I'm using XP.
Right.
I'm using XP, so.
Well, the knowledge base article, you can, I believe, roll back. I don't know how hard it is, but there is a knowledge base article, 957700 at support.microsoft.com. that says, how do I remove Internet Explorer from Windows for troubleshooting? And I think that this would help you step down. But I gotta tell you, it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah. Well, I understand that.
When you see script errors, now the other thing you can do, and I would try this first, is in the Internet options, there's a setting to not show script errors. Most of the time, you don't want to see script errors.
Right.
Because there's nothing you can do about it. The error isn't your fault. For some reason, on older machines, that display script errors is turned on by default. That's not what you want.
Okay.
You don't need to see those. Those errors shouldn't make any difference. They're not on your page. They're on Juno's page or somebody else's web page. They're JavaScript errors.
It says, do you want to continue running the script on this page? Well, yeah, I do, and just leave me alone about it.
Yes. So I would first try that setting. You might have to dig through it, but disable. I'll see if I can find it for where it was for IE8. But if you disable the script error issue, that should fix it. Go to Control. Whistle did it. He said, go to Control Panel, Programs, Remove Update. Oh, that's to roll it back. We don't want to do that though. I would go into the Inner Options and turn off. You don't want to display script errors. And if that fixes it, stay with the latest version if you can. Always best to use the most recent version of Internet Explorer. It's always more secure. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, a good day to you. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Hour number 3 of the Tech Guy Show on the eve of Christmas Eve. Giving you buying advice, helping you understand the gadgets you got. Talking about the tech and the stories, the big stories of 2012. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. The website is techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com. And we can talk about anything that's on your mind. I'm here for you. 8888 Ask Leo. Max is in Milpitas, California, listening to News Talk 910 in San Francisco. Hi, Max.
Hello, Leo. What a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to you, I can sleep very well at night. You know why, Leo?
Why?
Carbonite and ESET.
They're good tools.
Lifesavers, and highly recommend them to anyone for their Christmas presents.
I really appreciate that, Max. You know, the sponsors are what this is free broadcast stuff. Everything I do is free. We don't charge for the website. We don't charge for the podcast. We don't charge for the show. And all of that is supported by the sponsors. And we're very fortunate. We have great sponsors. I handpick them. There's always a line to advertise on the Tech Guy Show. We're already sold out for next year. And it's because we have such great sponsors and because we have great listeners like you who patronize them. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks again, Leo. Leo, I want to echo your sentiment about the U.S. cellular or
the mobile phone companies in the U.S. Yeah, don't get me started, Max. You're going to get me started again.
I know, I'm sorry. But let me tell you what I've gone through. I'm a long-time customer of Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
The last smartphone I had was a Thunderbolt.
Wow.
I was happy with it for a while and then started having all kind of issues. Cut the story short, the technical support of Verizon said, hey, you're getting close to your to the time for upgrade, right? So why don't you just upgrade your phone and just get this thing over with? That's wonderful. I've been listening to your program, and I know how highly you think of Galaxy Note 2. And I said, great, that's what I want to go with. So, unfortunately, when I got the phone, I realized that my unlimited data plan has been vanished.
Yeah, Verizon does that. They have a little thing, yeah.
And I wasn't told when I called, when I talked to the salesperson at the Verizon.
Well, that's wrong. He should have told you. I ordered mine online, and it warned me with a big pop-up. It said, this is going to, you're going to lose your... The truth is, nobody wants to offer unlimited data anymore because it's too expensive, especially with LTE, because, you could pay for the hotspot feature and use this as your internet service provider. It would be faster than your ISP because LTE is so fast. So all of the phone companies, with the exception of Sprint, and I guess T-Mobile has unlimited, but both AT&T and Verizon have eliminated, for the most part, their unlimited. You have to work very hard to keep your grandfather unlimited clause. I'd call him up and say, hey, you didn't...
No, I discovered after talking to...
Yeah, I'd call him up and I'd say...
Support.
Yeah, call him up and say, hey, wait a minute, you never warned me. I want that back.
I did, Leo. Let me tell you what the end result was. I think that would be good for your audience,
Okay.
Too. It appears that Verizon is willing to grandfather you back into the unlimited data plan, as long as you pay the retail price for the Note.
That's right. That's right. You don't get the subsidized price.
Right.
That's right. And that's
the only way. So I'm just trying to see whether that's even worth the full price or not. But Leo, the problem I have is the following. That's the reason I was calling you about.
Okay.
The phone is only 10 days old.
Yeah.
I've been connecting it to my home wireless network.
Okay.
Initially worked perfectly fine. I have a network key, it's a secure network, and was very happy. Was able to get all my emails and so on and so forth, and also try to control my data usage, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason you do.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of days ago, I started getting this message on the phone: authentication has failed.
I used to get that on my Galaxy S3 all the time. Now, on my Note, I am not getting that. I think there is something on these Samsung phones with Wi-Fi. Have you done all the updates on the phone, firmware updates?
It's a brand new phone.
Well, it doesn't mean that there aren't updates. I would still go to the system settings, and at the very bottom, it says About Device, and in there's a software update item. I just make sure you got the latest software. I know what you're saying, Max, because now it's not happening on my Galaxy Note 2. The Wi-Fi is working fantastically, but I had problems with my Galaxy S3. Exactly that. You'd get that authorization problem. And I think it was on weak Wi-Fi. Web5417 in our chat room says he removed Samsung Sync and that went away. And maybe it's a Samsung issue.
Well, yeah, because I called the technical support of Verizon, and they asked me to remove my Wi-Fi and then reinstall it again.
Yeah, that's what I would have said too.
But it seemed to be very intermittent. Maybe it does work sometimes it doesn't. Essentially, they're telling me, okay, take the phone back, get a new one. So I'm beginning to have a little concern.
I wouldn't hesitate. By the way, I wouldn't hesitate to do that. If you have any trouble with a brand new cell phone, just trade it in, get a new one. Especially nowadays when the sync with Google means that you don't have to worry about losing anything. The data is all going to be restored. I would, because you don't want a phone that's got intermittent Wi-Fi issues. I've gotten, and I will tell you right now, I have 2 Galaxy Notes I have a Sprint Galaxy Note and an unlocked European Galaxy Note I'm running on AT&T, and both of them work flawlessly with Wi-Fi everywhere. I haven't had that same problem. So, I would say get a new phone and see if that fixes it. They're willing to trade it in. That's good. That's good news, Max. That's a reason to stick with Verizon. It may be a router incompatibility. Does it happen at work? Does it happen in other Wi-Fi routers? The only reason I'm sympathetic, and I'm not assuming that there's something going on here, is because I had the same problem with another Samsung, the Galaxy S3, all the time. And it's just, I think that there may be something that's going on these phones that may have poor Wi-Fi issues. I'm not sure. But as long as they're going to trade that in, I would trade it in and see. Don't put up with it, that's for sure. Gary, Buffalo, New York, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Is it snowing in Buffalo, Gary?
Yes, but not enough, Leo.
Not enough. You want more.
No. Yes, I want a snowshoe, and I need a little bit more than we've got here. South of here, there's some more, but I can't get out there today.
I have a feeling you'll get some snow.
I hope so. And the reason I can't get out is because I'm replacing a hard drive. And I have plenty of backup. That's not the issue. But what happened was I used to use Google Sync on my personal Google Gmail account to sync my contacts and calendar from Outlook, which I use on my desktop, to my Android phone. And after I start reinstalling all my programs and everything, I find out that Google has stopped that service. It's no longer available.
No.
So I look at the Google Business app for $5 a month, and it might work, but it just seems more complex than what I need.
That's what Google did basically. Is they said it syncs with Outlook if you pay for apps. If you're a free Google Docs user, no more syncing for you with Outlook, and that's a shame.
Well, I don't mind the $5 a month for that. I pay that, but it's more complex than I want it to be. It means having another Outlook file instead of using the one I always use. Now I got to use the Google one, and it doesn't transfer everything, and so it's just too. I was just looking for I used to be a BlackBerry user until it died. That's when I switched over to Android. But BlackBerry, there was a great program. I think it was Syncmatic. It was called. Right. And I just installed it on both sides on the phone and it would sync my wirelessly. It would sync the.
Let me ask, because I don't know. I mean, this is I've heard this problem many times with Outlook and Google. Let me ask the chat room. We'll come back and give you an answer. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. What do you use? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Gary's in Buffalo, New York, and he's got a problem a lot of people have. He uses Outlook, and Google's sunsetting Outlook Sync unless you pay for Google Apps. Here's the chat room's recommendation, Gary. It's a program from Fieldston Software, FIELDSTON software.com. It's called G-Sync-It. $20, one-time only fee. It will do exactly what you want. Works with Outlook 2013 as well as earlier versions. Syncs calendars, contacts, tasks, and notes with Google. Also does tasks with Toodaloo, notes with Dropbox and Evernote and Simple Note. This looks like a great choice, and the chat room, somebody in the chat room said he uses it and he loves it. It's a very good program. $20.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the chat room too. GSYNCIT. If you Google that, you should be able to find it quickly. Thanks, Gary.
And have them send me some snow. Thank you.
Yes, we want to go snowshoeing, says Gary. He's insane. Have you heard about the Battle of the Santa Trackers? Talk about funny story. Hold on a second. I want to talk a little bit about protecting yourself online, and then I'll talk about the Battle of the Santa Trackers. Who are you going to support? The North American Air Defense Command or Google? But for years, working in radio, I would play the radio. I don't know how I love Santa. I believe deeply in Santa, and I look forward to Santa coming every year. And one of the tricks that we used as parents when my kids were little to get the kids to go to bed early is the Santa tracker, right? When I was in radio, NORAD used to do this for us. And I didn't realize this. It started in the 50s, 1955. A local Sears store set up a Santa hotline but misprinted the number. And the number people were calling was Conrad. or CONAD, the North American Air Defense Command. So all of a sudden, Christmas 1955, Colonel Harry Shoup, who was director of operations protecting the United States against the Ruskies, starts to get calls about Santa. So he said, well, let's check the radar. And they did, and they could pinpoint his position. So he started telling people 55 years ago, Santa's over Finland right now. It got more and more sophisticated. And then there was a schism. A couple of years ago, the Santa tracker from NORAD used Google Maps. This year, they made a deal with Microsoft. They're using Bing Maps. And so Google has started their own Santa tracker. It's dueling Santa trackers, ladies and gentlemen. I presume that they'll have the same results on both. The official NORAD Santa tracker is noradsanta.org. I mean, I kind of want to use this out of tradition. 9 hours, 35 minutes, 48 seconds till Santa takes to the air. I guess Microsoft gave him some money. I don't know. But I always like this because they have, NORAD soldiers would say, this is Staff Sergeant Michael Key Kinsley, and I see Santa now. And it was always, I always enjoyed that. But now, I guess Google didn't want to get left behind. So if you go to google.com/Santa Tracker, they've got their own with all this HTML5 goodness. They do have one thing that I think is kind of cool. They have kind of this Mad Libs thing that you can record, or Santa, let's see, you fill out a questionnaire, and Santa will send you a message. Santa will let you, which I kind of like. Santa will, I did it. I filled out there's a whole form that you fill out. Let me see if I can find my message from Santa. So you tell Santa what your best friend's name is. You tell Santa what your best friend's into and stuff. And then Santa records a little message for your best friend, which you can email them or so forth. I got one made from Santa. Let me just play this for you. I filled in some of the fields, maybe a little bit silly here. Let's see.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello, cutie pants. This is Santa Claus. I just spoke with your bestie, Hottie.
That's me.
He told me you have been a very good athlete and that this year you would like a beach body. Well, my first stop is your house in La La Land. So don't forget to leave me some baba ganoush. And be sure to go to bed early so I can bring you a surprise. But no peeking. All right, sister from another mister. Santa has to go pack up the sleigh with presents and get in some me time. Later, alligator.
I had no idea Santa was so hip. Anyway, that's the Google Santa Tracker. I don't think the NORAD Santa Tracker has that feature. Which one are you going to use? Maybe for old time's sake, I'll probably still use the NORAD Track Santa. I mean, that's tradition. But I like it that Santa's into Baba Ganoush anyway. It's a battle of the Santa Trackers. And all because Microsoft offered NORAD a little more money. I think the best way to do it is get them to listen to the radio. RadioSantaClaus.com/NORAD. And then you can hear as Santa gets closer. And it's a very handy way because, kids, you don't want to be awake when Santa gets there. He's very shy and he might run away. You want to be in bed, fast asleep. Spence in Denver, Colorado. I think you're going to be the last call of the day. Spence, Leo, Laporte, oh, no, wait a minute. What am I saying? It's only half past. We got a whole half hour to go. I'm in a hurry. I want to get in bed so Santa can come. Hi, Spence.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call, sure. And glad you're working on a holiday.
It's not. It's
your holiday weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Where am I going to go? I got presents to wrap, but other than that, no. I like being here. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a 5-year-old daughter, and she likes to get on the computer for 4 or 5 minutes at a time and goof off.
Sure.
The problem is you have no idea what she's going to do. She can't read. She doesn't know what she's doing.
I got some ideas for you. Hang on. We got to take a break, but I will help you in just a second. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The tech guy. We've been playing with the Santa Tracker. Google gets points for this Santa message thing Google.com/ I think, see, you can use both. Use this now and then the NORAD Santa Tracker tomorrow night. Google.com/Santa Tracker. If you go there, there's different little things you can click. Wherever, as you move your mouse along this little town, you'll see there's a cookie. But scroll over to the right, and eventually you'll see a picture. It's hard to find, of Santa with a handset, a phone handset. If you click that, you can design a custom message. And you do this in a little chat room. It goes, every holiday season, I make personal calls to North American phone numbers between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. and send personal messages on Google and email 24 hours a day. Let's chat for a few minutes to create a custom message for one of your friends or family members. Before we begin, what is your birthday? This is because they're going to gather personal information, and they can't do that by law unless you're over 13. So you have to give them an age that's over 13 years of age. Have you read over our terms of service and privacy policy? Even Santa has a legal team. I feel bad for Google because they probably don't want to do that. But they have to. Then you type in your name. Type in an indecipherable name because then you can pick a nickname. But this is, I think it's cute. And I recorded it. You heard earlier I recorded one. And it's fun. The Santa Tracker. It's google.com/Santa Tracker with lots of HTML5 goodness built right in. I don't know. So I guess they're different games. Here's a Santa, a game helping Santa steer his sleigh. With little 8-bit music. All right, let's go. Let's go, Santa. It's not very challenging right now, but I'm sure it will get that way. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. 88. Oh, I have to push the up arrow? All right, let's try that. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, 3, 2, whoa. Oh, whoa, Santa. So, somebody in the chat room saying, people at Google have too much time. You see, this is what comes of. Google has this policy where every Google employee is expected to take 20% of their time, 1 day in 5, and devote it to a project. They call it the 20% time. And great stuff has come out of it. Gmail came out of it and other very cool Google products. But I think you also get stuff like this. I'm sure that's somebody's 20% time. Andrew, oh, wait a minute. We were talking to Spence in Denver, Colorado. He's got a couple of little kids, 5 and 2 years old. And do they like using the computer, Spence? I mean, is that they're kind of attracted to it?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say occasionally they want to get on there and poke around.
Right.
But my 5-year-old, she's just learning to read, so she has no idea most of the time what she's clicking.
Yeah, you don't want to give them random access. Yeah, that would be dangerous.
It's Windows 7.
Yeah, and it's your computer?
It's our home computer.
Yeah, so there's probably stuff on there you don't want them to mess up.
Well, right, and what she did yesterday is somehow I got an email from Gmail saying that I'd upgraded my Google Drive to 8 terabytes of storage. Now, it's $399 for the upgrade.
No.
And I got a bill on my Chase
saying
that I had done this.
How could she do?
I figured out how she did it. I have Google Wallet. She right-clicked on the little notification on the bottom right of Windows 7, clicked upgrade, and I guess somehow it just charged through my Google Wallet.
Unbelievable. She just cost you $300.
Well, let's say I called Chase and told him to cancel that.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I only had it for 3 or 4 hours, but they say there's a no refund policy on that.
Yeah, no.
I had done nothing to.
Yeah, let's not let the 5-year-old use the computer untrammeled anymore.
Yeah.
Shall we?
So what I'm looking to do is try to get. I know you can do have different users on the computer and whatnot, and also have a browser that's just kid specific. So when she gets on there, it's real easy for her to click and only do things that little kids want to do.
I'm going to put in the show notes a Lifehacker article reviewing some kids' menus and interfaces. There's one it's free, called Kids Menu. And there's another one called Kid Rocket and Kids Zooey, which is these are free. Kids Menu is free. Okay. And you put them on your system. Basically, you run it, and it will keep kids from doing exactly what she just did.
Okay, so would I have to set up her own user,
no,
profile?
what you probably want to do is before you let her on the computer is run that program.
Okay.
And then she will be within a sandbox that she can't get out of. Only you will know how to get out of it. There are lots of programs like this too, but these used to be very common.
Sure, yeah.
Another one called...
Yeah, I'd like to just have her to where I don't have to bother her either.
Yeah.
Typically, she'll get on there and start poking around, and I'm having to tell her, don't do this, don't do that.
No, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
No,
there's actually a Linux. Somebody in the chat room is telling me there's a Linux. Bronwyn says there's a Linux for kids called Chemo.
I have a dual boot into Ubuntu, and they have a great learning and everything else, but typically I'm not logged into that. So,
right.
I have to reboot the computer, put her on.
Well, exactly.
By that time, she might not even want to get on there. So
Chemo, Qimo.
Qimo, okay.
Is a Linux distro. It's Qimo4, the number 4, kids.com. And it's a Linux for kids.
Better, and then she could just get on there herself. And
be more secure. Absolutely.
Exactly.
For kids 3 and up. The other thing I gotta tell you is I know a lot of little kids who love iPads. They get to the point where they can actually, even at the age of 3, start up the programs they want. I know a kid. How old is Alex's son? He's 4.
Just turn off the
purchases. Yeah. He can launch Netflix, go to his Phineas and Ferb, launch that, and watch it.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but Lisa does make a good point. Lisa, my partner, has a 10-year-old, and she says, just turn off in-app purchases on those.
Exactly. Well, I took all my credit card Google Wallet and did away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
What it was, I had it too easy for me to be able to purchase things.
Right.
There was no password.
Yeah, you had a one-click purchase. Yeah.
It was just a one-click thing.
Right.
Click. I think she clicked 3 times, and she had bought $400 worth of.
Are you smarter than a 5-year-old?
I don't have 8 terabytes.
There's lots of, I highly encourage it because you want kids to be comfortable with the computers. They're going to grow up with this. This is going to be her life. And so you want her to be able to use it and be comfortable with it. And so I think anything that you can do to make that easy to use is a great idea.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for the call, Spence. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah. My kids, we did a lot of stuff they call them lap software in those days, where you would hold your kid in your lap, and there was remember Broderbund, and there was Arthur's Teacher's Trouble and stuff. The great kids learning reading programs, Aladdin Math. This was in the days when CD-ROMs were hot, and this was a very popular category. Died. Just most of these companies are gone. And it's sad because this was a great experience. My daughter's 20 now. My son's 18. I don't have to worry about them on computers anymore. Actually, maybe I should. But it's their problem now, not mine. They're adults. But when they were little, I loved that idea of spending time with them on the computer. And I want them to be comfortable with it. You want them to understand how this stuff works. You really do. Andrew in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Leo. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I finally made the leap. I finally got a MacBook Pro.
Wow. That's an expensive leap.
Oh, man. I almost called you just for therapy on that
one. Well, how was it? Was it a good experience?
Well, we just opened it yesterday. It's for my wife, and that's why I'm calling. So inevitably, I just became level 1 support for a Mac I've never had.
Oh, well, that happens, yeah.
So anyways, what happened is she's part of a website membership where they render video for classes, and I guess it uses Flash.
Hold on just a second, because I do have to take a break. We'll talk about it, though, in a second. I want to help you out. It is the holidays. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's Sunday. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Andrew in Santa Fe, New Mexico's got a brand new MacBook Pro. His wife does anyway, and he's tier 1 support, even though this is your first Mac. That's what you get.
Right.
That's what you get for being a geek, Andrew. You're responsible for every bit of technology in the house.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm in a little bit of a predicament here. So anyways, I did notice that I downloaded Chrome, and that didn't work. Finally, I downloaded Firefox. That did work.
So you were saying her class uses Flash.
Yeah.
And what is it that I don't understand, though, what she's trying to do. Is this a web page?
Yeah, it's a web page that apparently has Flash video. It's a class that, you click on it and the video pops up.
I get it. And it wasn't working out of the box on Safari.
Correct. And then I downloaded Chrome. It didn't work there either. But I finally downloaded Firefox, and it did work. So I was thinking maybe it's something in the settings of Safari that I can mess with.
Yeah, it's easy to fix. Apple's Macs don't come with Flash installed. So, in fact, it's odd that Chrome didn't work because Chrome does come with Flash. So I don't know what was going on. But the simplest thing is to go to get.flash.com. Now, the trick is you don't want to download and install in the... Actually, I guess it's not get.flash.com. Let me just go to flash.com and see what it is. What you don't want to do is download in the browser. You want to download the standalone Flash installer. So it looks like Flash Player is what you want. And you download the Flash Player. And then you close your browsers and you run the installer.
Okay.
And that should install across all browsers, including Safari. Get.adobe.com/flashplayer. There you go. Get.adobe.com/flashplayer. And just,
all right, I'll try it out.
Yeah, I mean, Flash is not used to be on Windows. It used to be included all the time. I don't know if they still do. But on Macs, Steve Jobs didn't like Flash, didn't like Adobe. So they just decided to stop bundling it. And you know what? They were smart because it turns out Flash is a source of a lot of problems. And so you always have to keep it up to date. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Andrew. Enjoy your holiday. Andy in El Sereno, is it?
Right, Leo. Hello, Leo.
Hey, Andy.
I appreciate you taking my call, first of all. And before I forget, there are some issues with your Samsung Note 2 and some of the Galaxy models that they've announced over one of the networks. I don't remember which because I listened to quite a few of them, including Bloomberg, and they're working to fix them.
Yeah, there's a security flaw in the kernel on many Galaxy S3s and Galaxy Note 2s. Samsung has admitted it. They said they're trying to fix it. There are online fixes. You're right. I should have mentioned this. Your best bet on this is just for a little bit, be very careful about where you download software. If you get it from the Google Play Store.
I don't have a Note 2 yet, but I'm going to wait now for this thing to blow over, and maybe I'll get one.
Yeah, they'll have a fix within a week, I'm sure.
I have some other issues on my PC, and I've had them for the past several years with several PCs. I keep on burning up hard drives. And the other day, I got online, and I looked at some kind of advertisement, my PC something or other. I don't remember exactly offhand. And for $9.95, they offered to give you a software that's normally $29.95 or $30. And that was supposed to clean out your computer, speed it up, etc. Well, that thing led to another. I ended up speaking to some guy in India, a software engineer, and he says, well, your whole computer system is infected. And let me take it over, let me take a look at it. And he says, well, you may need a program to be with it because it's not only your computer or hard drive, it seems like your ID. You have Trojan horses and all kinds of other viruses that are attaching themselves on your computer. So regardless, even if you get a new computer, you'll have the same problem. I'm just wondering now if that's true or whether there are any kind of other fixed type situations that I could employ in this, because these guys charge $400.
Okay.
But that's a 4-year.
Step one, you made a huge error in the first place buying the $10 software. That probably was a virus. This guy in India is a scam artist who has already installed viruses on your system. He's wrong. There's no such thing as a virus that you get a new computer, you'll have it. That should have kind of been a giveaway. These guys are scam artists from top to bottom. Please, folks, if you're listening, if something pops up on your computer says, just for the week, this week only, $10, not $19.99, we will fix your computer. Don't do it. If you're a bad guy, think about it. If you're a bad guy, your goal as a bad guy is to get somebody to install software on their computer that lets you take it over. They have to run a program to do that. So what would you do if you wanted to get as many people as possible to install your program? You'd tell them that you have the best little program in the world to fix all their computer woes. If you were really greedy, you'd charge them for this. They'd pay you. Now you've got their credit card number, you've got their money, and you've got a Trojan horse on their computer. You own this guy. Then he'd pop up a message saying, uh-oh, call our support center in India. We see problems. And then you charge him another $400 as if you didn't get enough money out of him. This is all a scam. Do not accept software from strangers, period. Please. You were worried about that Samsung patch. They didn't need to have a hack, an exploit on you. You did it for them. You walked right in and said, hello, take me over. So what do you do now? Your system is loaded with viruses. It's a mess. I hope you have recovery disks for that system. If you do, the best thing to do at this point is erase the hard drive fully. Don't just reinstall Windows on top of the existing Windows, but erase the hard drive, run the recovery disks after erasing, start over. There's only one way to get back to where you belong. Reformat the drive and start over. Nuke the thing. Nuke the thing. And next time somebody offers you a deal on fixing your computer, don't take it. These are scams. They're well-known scams. And please don't fall for these things. Just terrible stuff. Sandra in Santa Clarita, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Sandra. We got a minute left.
Hi, Leo. Merry Christmas to you.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
My husband bought me a notebook, and before I power it up for the first time, I want to be ready to make my recovery disks.
Yes.
And, of course, it's a notebook, so it does not have a DVD drive built in.
Right.
I have an old Sony portable CD-ROM. It's a Discman.
I don't think they'll ask you to make disks if you don't have a disk burner. I think they'll probably ask for a USB key.
So I only can do a USB?
Yeah, which is better, really. The disks are slow, and they often have errors. I would go ahead and start it and see what it asks for. But a 4 gig would probably be enough. Maybe you need an 8 gig USB key. They're not very expensive. And then you can boot to that. You can install. I think it's better than a CD.
Okay, because he also bought me a computer, so I just did that, and when I did the backup on that, it said if I was going to use a USB, it was going to take 22 gig, and I didn't have
Whoa! Really? That's a big, wow. All right. Well, it might be that it takes that long. You could also use an external hard drive, I would imagine. But boot the thing up. Since it doesn't have a DVD player or DVD burner, it's not going to ask you for a DVD. It's going to ask you for something else.
Is there such a thing as can I use my Sony? Is there a converter cord from a PC MCIA to a USB cord?
No, you can't. You probably can't. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the TWiT Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.